Hey guys, really quickly today, I want to talk about courage and how it works in conjunction with the suppression tokens and how it affects your units on the board. So you'll notice here we've got Leia Organa and I've got my Rebel unit out here. The courage value on the cards is actually represented right underneath the health, which is the green value. You'll see courage is the yellow value. In this case, Leia Organa has a courage of 2. Our Rebel Trooper unit has a courage value of 1. Um, and so even though the Rebel veterans have seen combat before, they still get a little rattled when people start shooting at them, as I think probably most people would. And then if you ever see, like, say, for instance, there's a dash, like Darth Vader's card's a perfect example. He has a dash by his. That means that he cannot be suppressed or panic. And that's what we're about to talk about here is so you have the ability to panic a unit if you get whatever their courage value is. So in this case, our Rebel veterans will panic if they have 2 suppression tokens or more because it's basically whatever their courage value is times 2 or more, they're going to panic. So Leia would need 4 suppression tokens or more to panic. Uh, and then if they were going to be suppressed, it's just 1, like times 1, multiplied by 1. So Leia would need 2 suppression tokens to be suppressed. And then these Rebel veterans would need just 1 suppression token. So how does this come into play and what does suppressed and panic mean? So if this rebel unit is suppressed, that means that they can only perform 1 action during this round. So normally you get 2 actions for a unit. If a unit is suppressed, the idea again is that they're ducking down, they're trying not to get shot at, so they're not going to be as mobile or be as courageous to take more than one. It's a huge risk to even take 1, is the idea. Now, the cool thing about the way this works is you can use your commander unit's courage value as long as you're within range 1 to 3. So this unit currently is suppressed because they have 1 suppression token and they have a suppression value of 1. But if they were in range 3 of Leia Organa, and again, I'll show you. So you can see right here, this Rebel veteran is just outside. Here's my leader. He's just outside of this range 3 ring. But if I moved them, let's say just inside like this, now they're within range 1 to 3 of my leader, and Leia could actually, the idea is she's calling across the battlefield. They see her fighting, and her courage value is higher, so they're not going to. Oop, I just flipped my guys. There we go. They're not going to want to run or be as scared, so they're going to use her courage value. So in this case, they would need 2 suppression tokens because they're near Leia, so they're not suppressed at this point, so they could take 2 actions. And so that's how that works. Now, the panic value is the same way, where again, normally if I had 2 tokens here, let me do that so it's a little easier to see. These guys, if they were backing over here, again, just out of range 3 for Leia, they're going to panic. And now what panic means is they're also suppressed, so they only get 1 action, but when they panic, that action has to be a full speed maneuver to the closest board edge. In this case, when I zoom out, the closest board edge is right back here. So these guys would perform a speed 2 maneuver and be right about here. And again, then you would take your unit and put them in cohesion. So if they stay panicked, they're going to pull off the board again and they'll actually die. So because if any part of this unit leader, even if it looks just like, let me zoom in here, just like this, you can see just that little lip is off, this entire unit would die. So you never, ever, ever want to see your units panic. It's actually a really bad thing. Um, but again, this is where range to your unit leader comes into play and is critical because right here I'm out of range 3, so this unit would be panicked. But if I was inside of this range, now I need 2 or multiplication factor of the courage value of Leia, so they'd have to have 4 suppression token, not just 2. So in this case, again, if you remember that, if you watch that suppressive video, how to apply suppressive tokens, we had applied 3 with some attacks from this ATST and these Death Troopers over here. I would still be under the value of being suppressed, but this unit wouldn't panic, and so they could do some things to remove these stress tokens. And so that's how the courage value works. And so again, it's a concept that can be a little confusing when you first start playing with it, but once you get it down and really start understanding it, it makes the game so much more fun and so much deeper than if you play it without that. So again, basic things to remember: courage value is found on the card. It's the yellow number. If they have equal to or more than their courage value, they are suppressed and they'll only get one action. And then if they have double or more of their courage value, they will panic and move off the board. And the only way that changes is if they're within range 1 to 3 of their commander. Then they can use their commander's courage value, which is always a higher number. And so that's the basic covering of the courage. And next, we're going to talk about how to actually roll off suppression during our rally steps, and how you can remove suppression tokens, as well as how suppression tokens factor into attack and defense. Because if you have them, they can actually help you when you're being attacked. So they're not all bad.